This is Wrestling for the Faith.
Wrestling for the Faith.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wrestling for the Faith. I'm Casey.
And I'm the coach.
All right. Hey, Coach. You're back. And how did you enjoy hearing Baby Coach's first podcast debut last week?
Well, he's a man of few words. Let's put it that way. You know, he's a lot like I used to be. You know, I didn't want to talk, or maybe I was too scared. I don't know what it is, but my baby boy, I was kind of proud of him for getting on there, though. You know, that's a lot for him. Well, literally, he didn't talk. He's just not much of a talker, pal. You know that. He's quiet. I think he's quieter than I ever was. You know.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he's in that place I used to be a long time ago. Yeah. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just he don't have a whole lot to say, buddy. But I was proud of him, man. I enjoyed it. Y'all did a good job.
It's better. You know, I always try to tell my kids. I always tell them, it's better for people to look at you and think that you're an idiot than you to open your mouth and prove it.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why I never said nothing.
But so you know, the Bible talks about how foolish people just spew their words. So I don't see, you know, Riley Boy as being his quietness as being a bad thing. And as you got on into the podcast, I mean, you heard he opened up and started talking about wrestling and the remnant retreat and everything. So it just takes a little bit to get him stirred up.
Yeah, it does. Even when he's here with me and his mom, you know, it takes him. He gets going. He'll start preaching. Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I try to tell him, hey, man, you know who you are, so don't be ashamed and don't be intimidated, I guess, by just being quiet. You know, he's always been quiet, so that's something as I learned too, you know, as I got older. But the Spirit, Holy Spirit really just dealt with me with that. Just, man, there's something inside you. You just can't be quiet. You just, you know, man, just for the love that I have for people now, and you know, I discuss it all the time. So, man, he'll get there, and I'll pray for him all the time. Just, hey, be yourself. Yeah, that's what we tell him, right? Just be yourself, be real with the Father. The Father knows the real you anyway. So, just
exactly
be who you are, who He's called you to be.
That's right. Before we get too deep in our conversation, I want to throw this out there before I forget. I will be returning to the Cleveland National Guard Armory on Saturday, May 6th. It's 4185 Dalton Pike, Cleveland, Tennessee. This is Cole Gordy Promotions presents Chasing the Dream. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is at 7. All tickets are $12. Kids 5 and under are free. You can go to cpwrestling.com for more information, but I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be the first time that I have been at the Cleveland National Guard Armory in quite a while. That's my old stomping grounds. It's where I grew up watching wrestling, and where I have had, you know, several great matches myself. This one, myself, I'll be there. Buff Bagwell, David Young, Tank and the Rev, Jaden Newman, Cousin Cletus, Cyrus the Destroyer, and so many more. So this one's going to be a good one. So everybody make plans. If you're in the area, be there on May 6th at the Cleveland National Guard Armory. I believe we're going to have a really good time. But, man, I used to love those shows. Dusty Rhodes used to come in, bring his Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling into the Armory, and you know they would run shows like once a month. And man, did you ever go to any of those?
I never made it to the Turnbuckle. Of course, you know I live in Georgia, so just the local stuff around there, and I actually never even heard of it until we got to, you know, till we met. And I wish I'd known about it. I'd definitely been up here. Definitely been up here watching for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, I used to love those shows. There was, of course, Dusty, and then he would bring in Barry Windham and Lodi and Scotty Riggs and many of the guys, and that was right around the end of WCW, so like '02, early '03 time. So you're seeing guys who you'd been watching on Nitro, recently, and I mean it was good stuff. I really enjoyed those shows, and of course, I mean the Dream, baby, he always brought a crowd.
Yeah, I was, man, for some reason I just never heard about it, or, of course, I wasn't up here at the time, so that's probably why. I just, growing up in Georgia in the Chatsworth area, those little local shows down there, checked them out a lot when I could. But, yeah, I wish I'd been there for some of the turnbuckle wrestling.
Yeah.
Man, Dusty Rhodes, man, he's always one of my favorites. Always been one of my favorites, too.
Yeah. Also, one of my favorite matches that I have ever had, still to this day, and I was only about a year in the business. This was at CWF Disturbance 2. This was 2004, and it was a ladder match for an NWA PWE contract between me and my former tag team partner Matt Jordan. And this was the first ladder match that I'd been in. And me and Matt had one later on, several years later. I think those are only the two only ones. No, I've had a couple more, come to think of it. But anyway, this thing, it was great. And I mean, just this is one of those matches. A lot of the matches, that I look back on from early in my career, I look at them and I'm like, ugh, golly, I want to puke. I'm like, ooh, I could have done that different. I shouldn't have done that. I should have done this. But this one, I wish I had it on tape, because this one was not a lot of technical stuff. It was ladder match, and we did some stupid stuff. Of course, me and Matt, we grew up together. We were best friends all through school, and we just had that common bond that, hey, we're going to go out here, we're going to put a show on. We're probably going to hurt each other, but we're going to do it to boost our careers and for the enjoyment of the fans, and then we'll come back here to the back and hug each other and lick our wounds when it's over. And, I remember doing so many what I would consider stupid things now.
Right.
And I remember losing so much blood in that match that I was almost passing out halfway through it. I hit the center vein in the middle of my head when I got busted open, and it was shooting out into the front row. So that was always a really good memory from CWF's Disturbance 2. And for me and Matt and our buddy Joey, it was it was kind of a proud moment, because CWF was our company, and seeing what we were able to do with it was really fun.
So since we're on wrestling, I'd like to go back to last week. Y'all mentioned AEW, and Riley mentioned something about there's a lot of blood in the matches they show. It's like every match they do is, man, somebody bleeds somewhere. But anyway, I bring that up because I was watching WrestleMania 13. I was watching the Bret Hart and Stone Cold match they had. Oh man, talking about, now that was a good match. The build up to it, and just that's, I think that's one thing that's, these matches today, a lot of people just bleeding every match, but that match was the build up to it, and when it showed the blood, man, it's like these guys are really hurting each other. It's not just everyday thing, like it is now. But man, I really enjoyed that match. I told you yesterday, I've been watching WrestleMania and Clash of the Champions, is going back and watching some of the older stuff.
Yeah.
But man, it was really good. And AEW, I don't really keep up with. I mean, I watch it a little bit. They do have some decent matches sometimes. But all the super kicks and all the flippity flops, as you call them. Yeah, I'm with y'all. I just like the old school wrestling. And some of that stuff's good. I mean, fans are different. They like the newer stuff. I like some of the newer stuff. But every super kick every 5 minutes and, just doing crazy stuff that's not necessary.
Yeah.
Just go back to wrestling. Headlock takeover, baby.
Right. Well, there's a psychology to this stuff.
Yeah.
And when you do things in the right place, it's good. But when, like you're talking about blood or talking about a lot of the high spots that guys do today, listen, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Your body is only going to allow you to do so much. And, you might get paid a pretty penny right now, but break your neck and end your career and see how much you're getting paid, in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's just everything goes back to psychology. Why? And this is something that's missing from a lot of matches today. Why are you doing what you're doing and when you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like I loved ECW, but what a lot of people took from ECW was just the hardcore style, and every ECW match wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't.
Paul had a good enough mind to know that you can't do that, 5-6 matches in a row.
Right.
So what did he have? He stacked his cards with, there was some hardcore, there was some old school wrestling, there was some lucha libre, there was, so there was different styles throughout the card. And when it's like that, instead of every match, now you have promotions that are just completely hardcore, and that's all they do. Guys just constantly going out there and staring at each other and then picking up a light bulb and hitting each other with it. And so, and maybe some people have grown to like that, but I prefer like hardcore and gimmick matches when there is a reason for it. When you have worked a storyline and built up to something. I don't have a problem with blood. I love to, well, I don't really anymore, but I used to love to bleed when it meant something.
Yeah.
So I am all for building up to a steel cage match and it being full of blood and gore. I'm all for building up to a bull rope match or a Russian chain match or a dog collar match or something like that. But if you have a show where every single match, everybody's going out there using some kind of weapons, it's some kind of gimmick match, and everybody in every match is bleeding all over each other, then what makes your match any more special than the one before you or after you?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoy the psychology of it, and just, things like that are just missing a lot of times, We talk about it all the time, just telling the story, I love when two wrestlers are telling a story and they build up to the story and it comes, it finally comes to a head with each other, wrestling each other. And
right.
That's the good stuff, man. That's the things that I miss. Not that there's still some that happens today, but it's not very often that you see those type of matches. So let me get your thoughts. You still wrestle independent scenes. I think we talked about it a little bit before, but what's your thoughts on it now? You think? I enjoy some of the independent shows. I mean, you can see some really good wrestlers. Of course, you can tell who's green most of the time and who's, me just being a referee, watching I watch the referees a lot, so I'm always trying to improve my referee skills or whatever.
Right.
But there are some really good shows that have really good matches, they're in this area. And sometimes I feel like they just throw a show together, just getting guys, I guess if you're running weekly or bi-weekly or whatever, I think we did a show, we did once a month. So it was it made more sense that way instead of trying to run, every week.
Right.
Even bi-weekly would be good, but once a month it worked because you can build stuff, you can like build the show up for that month. Hey, you got to come back next month and see what happens instead of from week to week, So I just want to get your thoughts on that. And man, I really enjoy the shows though. A lot of the shows have some good wrestlers, good talent.
Yeah. There is a lot of good talent out there right now. There are a lot of them who are doing, great things, getting their names out and working as hard as they possibly can to get to the next level. And that's awesome. You can take talent just in this local area and stack a card that would be, now I'm not talking about star power, but as far as match quality,
right? Yeah,
I could take some guys from this area, the Cleveland, Chattanooga, North Georgia, roundabout. I could, cherry pick some guys, and I would guarantee that match quality, we could blow away most of what is on TV.
Yeah.
That's how much confidence I have in a lot of the talent that is out there today, just in this area. That's not talking about the rest of the world, but I mean, just from what I see in this area, there's some really good guys who are really pushing and really working hard. And so there's a lot of great talent. Here's the problem that I see with a lot of shows, and especially those who run like on a weekly basis. And this is how it's kind of always been. You see it like a show will start off being really hot, and we'll have, it'll stack its first couple of cards and have like, top grade talent from the area, and then even some names that people would recognize from TV or whatever. They'll stack the first 2 or 3 cards, and then the shows that run weekly, they'll stack their first 2 or 3 cards with great talent, and then they start running out of money, or decide, I'm going to start trying to save money. So they start booking green guys.
Yeah.
And then booking garbage guys. And there's nothing wrong with booking green guys. Green guys need a place to work, to get their reps, to get experience. That's a good thing. But what you want to try to do as a promoter and as a booker is, if you're bringing in green guys, you sprinkle them in the card and you work them not against other green guys or against garbage guys. You work them against good, solid talent that can lead them and help them and teach them on the job. So they're getting on the job training in the ring in a live event setting from guys who know how to help them. And the problem that I see a lot of times is these shows, to try to save money or whatever, they'll start booking a lot of green guys or a lot of garbage guys, and the green guys ain't learning anything because there's no one for them to learn, from, because they've got guys who are just as experienced as them. And then you got the garbage guys who are the guys who they might have been around 10, 20, 30 years, but they've got a know-it-all attitude and think they can't learn anything. So they can't teach these guys anything. So what happens is match quality, star quality, and just wrestling overall show quality begins to decline. And then next thing you know, these shows are sitting here running every week and drawing 5, 10 people.
Right.
And that's what kills towns, and that's what kills promotions. And, if you're smart with the talent that's in this area, man, you can really put together a good card. But, first thing, you don't book every Tom, Dick, and Harry that walks in the locker room and says, "Hey, I'm a wrestler."
Right.
You set a 5. I would say I usually tried to deal with like a 5 match card, 6 at the very most. You set up a 5 or 6 match card, and maybe this is where you add some of your extra green guys. You have a couple of guys, there for standby in case you have cancellations.
Right.
But you don't just book and pay, 40 guys who show up and say, "Hey, I want to wrestle this week." It will eventually kill your show.
Yeah, we talked about, we've been in the shows where, man, there's like 60 people running around in the back, and we're like, are these workers or are these? Well, who are all these people?
And sadly, and I say it, I've got to where I guess I'm getting older, and my filter is not as good as it was.
Yeah.
Now, if the Holy Spirit stops me, that's one thing, but there's a little bit of a difference in a business filter. And I try to help people and try to show a lot of compassion and try to, help people to grow in the business, because I love the wrestling business and I want it to prosper. I want guys guys younger than me who are coming in to learn and grow. I want to pass down the knowledge that was passed down to me. But walk into, I would say, 50% of these locker rooms, and you hear the promoters crying about they can't make no money. And I say, well, yeah, you got 15 guys back here that should be buying a ticket.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, you're right. I've been around it long enough to know. So when we've been in places, and I can see the look on your face when we're looking around, like, all these people.
Yeah,
half of them should be out there buying a ticket, because you want to make money, right? You want guys to succeed and learn their craft and make money while they're doing it. But man, you got 20 people in the back who just should be out there sitting buying tickets. You're right. Yeah.
And that's the difference in people who want to better this business, and then people who just want to play wrestler on the weekends.
Right.
They want to be able to go to their shoot job on Monday morning and talk about this fantastic match that they had over the weekend in front of 7.5 people at this local show. And it's just, the business used to be really, really hard to get into.
Yeah.
Used to be like this secret society, and you had to earn your way in. And I'm not necessarily condoning going back to, constantly, torturing guys and beating the crap out of them. But I do believe it should be a little harder to get in today than it is.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how it was when you first started. I only got in, I guess about 10 years now, through you training me. So I heard it was a lot harder back then to and say, I got a buddy here, he wants to be a wrestler. Okay. Is he into training? No. Oh, I bring him in anyway. But now, it's like, it seems like they do that a lot now. Maybe he's had an hour of training. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you still train guys, so I've seen how you train them. And man, when they're ready, you say, hey, all right, I got a guy. He's ready. You need some experience, Of course, the more experience you get, the better you're going to get at it, So.
Yeah, and most guys are not going to come out of their basic training and be the most glorious professional wrestler you've ever met.
Yeah.
There are some who pick it up really quick and they can just flow. I mean, they just have it from the very time that they start. And then there are some who, well, I'll say most, who they train, they learn the basics, they've still got some hiccups, but it takes them starting to get out and get booked and working in front of live crowds,
right,
and working different people and working people better than them. That's why I say for these little shows that book all green guys or all garbage guys, can't nobody learn anything from them because there's nobody to learn from. You got to work people better than you in order to get better.
And,
yeah. So that's the issue. So most people don't come straight out of their basic training and are the best thing since sliced bread. Most of them, it takes, baby steps, routines, and continuously beating up the roads and trying to get out there and traveling and working different people. And in some cases, having some sense beat into them and learning, different things and especially the psychology and why you do what you do and why you do it when you do it.
Yep. Because I know when you train to me as a ref, man, when it's tearing down rings, it's part of paying your dues, pal. Tearing down the ring, setting up the ring. And that's a lot of work, buddy.
It is.
Some of them rings a lot different than others since I found that out,
Yeah.
But it was good, man. I didn't want to come in just even as a ref, I know Casey, so I'm on. Man, I want to keep learning. I want to keep, because your name's attached to my name. So it's like, who am I trained by? I'm trained by Casey Cage. He trained me to be a ref.
Right.
So I want to keep getting better. I just want, because, I mean, like I said, your name's attached to mine. So, but yeah, just tearing down the ring, stuff like that, man. Maybe a lot of guys don't do that anymore. I don't know.
No. And that's something that a lot of these guys don't do. And now, when I very first started, I started at a show that the ring was there. It was,
right.
They ran weekly in this building, so they didn't have to set up and tear down. In my first year, I may have set up and tore down their ring. I know there was a couple of times they tweaked it, so they took it down and, put new boards on it or, different stuff. So I helped with that once or twice. But, we would like clean in the building, clean up around. And then when I started traveling with Ted Allen, I mean, that was something that I was doing constantly. That's where I started learning how to set up and tear down rings. And I mean, Ted would get me booked on shows. He would get my name out there and I was, traveling and working pretty much everywhere he was. But in most cases, we're dragging a ring to that town and we're setting that puppy up and we're tearing that puppy down after the show. So you're getting that and you're paying your dues and and a lot of guys don't have that. Today, a lot of guys get in the business and they're like, immediately, oh, I'm a superstar, and not having to pay dues, not having to earn anything. And that's why they don't respect it like they should.
Right.
And, guys should respect every single person in a show. That goes from the person who's cleaning the toilets, the concession stand workers, the person working the ticket door, the referees, the camera guys, the ring crew, the guys sweeping the broom or mopping up, spilled junk out in the crowd.
Yeah.
The workers, the booker, the promoter, the guys should be taught to respect all aspects because it takes all of us. But a lot of them are not. A lot of them are babied, and they're, oh, look, I'm a superstar. And they ain't paid no dues, and they don't respect the business like they should.
Right.
So all of this comes into something you text me today and was talking about remaining teachable.
Yeah.
And this fits in perfectly because here's the thing. In the wrestling business, you have to remain teachable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've done it. I don't care what promotions you've worked for. I don't care if you were a headliner at WrestleMania. If you can't still learn something, then it's time to take the boots off and get out.
Right.
We are always learning. And that goes with every aspect of life.
Definitely. That's wrestling. That's been led by Holy Spirit teaching us, and
yeah,
man, I think I'm learning pretty well, and he's trying to teach me something else, and I'm like, well, I'm not learning that too well. Just for me, the last few weeks, just different things, a lot of things at work and things like that, man. Just I shared yesterday that, Dana texted me and she was praying for me and just praying that I had a blessed day and that it was a non-stressful day, that my light could shine to others, for Jesus. And I was just being honest with everybody. The last few weeks, my light ain't been that bright, just different reasons in my mind at work and stuff like that. But man, he's always teaching me. So I had to remind myself, man, he's teaching me something here. When people get on my nerves, whatever you want to call it, I'm speaking about work. I think that's where usually my stress comes from. Unnecessary stress. And it's really nobody's fault. It just, I don't know, work, how it goes. So, and let's be honest with you, I can't stand working with lazy people.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people at work, they walk by with somebody struggling, they just walk by and don't want to help them and don't want to do their job. And that stuff just drives me nuts, man.
Yeah.
And my flesh just wants to just to get after them. And the Holy Spirit said, no, that's not who you are. That's not who you are anymore. But I want to be that person. I want to go over and say, hey, go over and help this guy. Do your job, man. Whatever. But man, for some reason, he just won't let me do it. I always teach him, and I think he puts these people in my path just to make sure I stay teachable, I guess. But man, it's hard sometimes, That's why I text you that day. I know, especially after, our Kingdom family, a lot of us going through things and different stuff after the retreat, especially that we had, the experience we had last year.
Yeah.
Man, God's going to do something amazing this year. Just watching us all, we just need to keep praying for each other and just lift each other up. I shared with you yesterday, man, when you hurt, I hurt. When somebody hurts in my family, I hurt. I feel it. But I also been struggling with things too. So it's like, all right, Lord, you're teaching us. I'm trying to remain teachable. We preach it a lot, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. He will allow us to go through things, that we preach.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to experience things. And I mean, of course, with my situation, a little hiccup that, has happened over the last few weeks that has really burdened me down and has caused me to question my trust, not in the Lord, but but in some people in my life. And I hate feeling that way. And it's just everything that we go through is meant to be a testimony, and it's meant to teach us and help us to persevere and continue moving forward and growing. And I know that deep down, and I know that God's got a plan, and his plan is perfect. But, you know, sometimes, and here's the thing that keeps running through my mind, that the Spirit continues to speak to me because I've spoken it to so many people. The enemy only has as much authority over you as you allow him to have.
Yeah.
And, you know, with this little situation over the last couple of weeks, for me, I'll just be honest with you, I was in a place where I just wanted to be mad. Just leave me alone. Let me be angry. Let me, you know, I know what I preach. I know it's the truth. I know that I am giving the enemy authority over my thoughts and my emotions. But right now, doggone it, I just want to be mad for a little bit.
Yeah. I've been there, man. I understand. I know exactly where you're coming from. And I tell myself, like, Lord, I just want to be mad for a minute. Just let me be mad for a day or two, whatever, you know, just in my mind. So, yeah, I know what you're saying, man. I know.
Well, and especially like with this, and I know there is a lesson in it. And I know, even though I feel like in my flesh, I want to say, well, the lesson is to not trust people. But that's not the lesson. You know, I know there's a lesson in it, but it's just when you open up and you become so vulnerable and you give someone, especially someone really close to you, which people who are not close to me, you know, they don't get my full trust like this. So when you open yourself up and you give your full trust to somebody and you feel like you were betrayed, it makes you not want to trust anymore.
Yeah.
And it has made me want to back off. It has made me want to shut down. And it's just a very frustrating situation.
Right.
And I have been through these almost pretty much the same situations a few times before. And then, you know, kept opening back up and trusting again.
Right.
And then for it to happen almost the same thing again, this one is really hurt. It is. In the cases of the other times, it has been like a frustration.
Right.
You know, but this time it has hurt me.
Yeah.
To the core. I mean, like, I don't use the word or phrase brokenhearted. I just don't. But in this situation, that's the only word that I know to describe it.
Right.
It's not that I'm just frustrated at somebody for messing up or failing. You know, we can get over screw ups. We can get over failures.
Right.
But to break my trust with a repeat offense, basically. And I have put myself back out there and decided to trust again and let the past be the past. And then it happened again. And then after a little bit, decide to put myself out there and trust again. Right. And and just open up my whole heart and everything, and then to feel betrayed again. Brokenhearted is the only way that I can describe it. And it is the first time, and I'm just being honest, it is the first time in a long time that I did not just bounce. We talk about, like with lust, to have bouncing eyes. I mean, we can't leave this world. So the junk that's in this world, we're going to see from time to time. But, you're walking down the sidewalk and you see this girl with, shorty shorts on, don't stop and stare. You glance, you see it, have bouncing eyes and move on. In most cases with stuff like this, or with anything, any kind of hurt or any kind of frustrations or just spiritual lessons, I have been able to just bounce and just know the Lord's got this. He's got a lesson in this. He's teaching me something, and I trust him. I'm good. And after a couple of days, it's over and I'm done, and I have learned my lesson, and I'm good. But with this one, this has been the first time in a long time that I have not just been able to bounce and just let it go and start trusting again. And that frustrates me for me. And it hurts me for them.
Yeah, I understand.
Because, and I know it's not the case, but I really, there's something in me that's like, you can't ever be vulnerable with this person again. You can't ever truly trust this person again.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to be like that.
Right. Yeah, man. Brother, I known you for a long time, so this is the first time I ever seen you. First time I actually heard you use this word brokenhearted, and I'll be honest, when you asked me to pray with you yesterday, man, I was like, Lord, I'm not really in a place to pray for him. I can't even pray for myself right now. I've just been in this place, it's like nothing particular. It's just, things. But man, I was like, Lord, I'm not really in a place like to be praying for my brother who I know is hurting. But man, all right, Lord, I'm just going to pray whatever you lay on my heart, whatever you want me to share. And man, I was just trying to be real with everybody yesterday. And when I prayed for you, man, it was real. And I had to push through it for me, because I was like, man, I'm just not in a place. And I hate being in that place where you can't really pray for anybody. It's not that you can't, you just don't feel like you can,
Well, and the enemy tries to convince you that, you're struggling with something right now anyway, so you can't, your prayers ain't going to be answered. You can't help nobody,
Yeah. So I was in that place, but man, we're going to pray through it. And man, I know we trust the Lord. We know that. And we know his plan is perfect. So, and I'm just being real. I hope I wasn't out of line yesterday or anything that I said. I meant every word, man. I love you. I know you're struggling with this. And I know you just want to be mad. I get it. I understand. Sometimes I'm like, Lord, I just want to be mad. Just let me. Even tell me, I just want to be mad. Leave me alone. Just let me be mad. I'll get over it. If I get over it, it takes a day to how long it takes. I just want to be mad. But I hope I wasn't out of line yesterday. Just sharing. I just felt what the Spirit laid on my heart, man. Just because I'm there too, man. Just different things. Nothing particular, really. I really don't. Sometimes I really don't even know. It's just, I'm sitting and I'm praying and just silence, and I know you're there, Lord. But it's like, man, I really can't feel. I just feel numb right now. I know a lot of people going through a lot of stuff. So, but man, that compassion that he's gave me, and I'll be honest, I told Dan last time, so maybe I'm too compassionate. I don't know. Maybe I have too much compassion.
Yeah. I don't believe you can have too much.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Things like that, I deal with. So, um, we talk about all the time. Guys are supposed to be tough. We ain't supposed to show emotion. Hey, I'm an emotional guy, man. The Spirit told me, and that's my worship. I mean, I can't. That's me worshiping the Lord.
And that's crazy. I was told of somebody recently, and sad to say, I heard that they were once a pastor, but they were talking about how, real men don't cry, real men are tough, they don't show their emotions, and blah blah blah. And I said, it's sad, but that right there, statements like that, is proof that that person has never truly known Jesus.
No,
because you get rid of all that tough guy garbage whenever you have truly surrendered to Jesus.
Exactly. So, man, just we're going to pray through this, man. We mentioned the youth retreat, and I'm excited for that coming up in August. Man, the Lord's really going to. I know we're full. We got some people on the waiting list. Man, it's going to be good. The Lord's we're just going to trust the Lord and let Him do His thing, man.
I'm telling you, I am looking forward to that. Let me go ahead and throw it out there while we're talking about it. Remnant Youth Retreat, the second annual, is going to be at Ocoee Ridge Camp in Old Fort, Tennessee. It is the first weekend of August. That's the 4th through the 6th, right?
Yes.
And yes, we have met our limit on youth that we're taking in, but just in case some have to pull out, schedules between now and then might get tight. So just in case, we are making a waiting list. So if you would like to have your child, we're saying ages 12 and up, at the Remnant Youth Retreat this year, then please email us at wrestlingforthefaith@gmail.com. We'll get them on the waiting list, and if somebody pulls out, they will be the first one to go into that spot, and we'll notify you and let you know. But man, we had a great time last year, and you mentioned it, and we all know that in different ways there have been attacks from the enemy all year in different times and different ways for each of us, and that's just, he's trying to discourage, but he don't have that kind of authority. And I'm looking forward to the Remnant Youth Retreat. And, maybe the thing that I'm going through right now is a special thing that the Lord is setting me up, so that I can share it at the retreat, so, you never know. He works things like that. That's the thing. That's the thing that people who don't know the Lord don't understand. Yes, we have normal, just because we're born again don't mean that we can't go through times of having normal human emotions. Right. It don't mean that we can't get in the flesh. But when you're hanging on to Jesus, that no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is, no matter how dark it looks, He's got you. And there's a reason for the storm that you're going through, and He is using it to make you stronger, to make you lean on Him more, and to chip away at those old things of your old identity, right, and draw you closer into your identity in Christ.
That's it. I do want to say about the retreat, if anybody feels led to donate anything, I guess for your food, water, whatever, just you can email us. Man, if the Lord just put something on your heart, you want to share, you want to give, well, I know we'd really appreciate that. The Lord's providing, though. And, man, I'm excited, man. Really excited about this one.
Yeah, me too. While you're talking about that, I have been meaning to start talking about this and putting these links out there. But if people feel led to give financially toward the Remnant Youth Retreat, we have Cash App. That is $C Stanfield Ministries. And then we have a Venmo, and that is at C Stanfield Ministries.
Yeah.
That is all, the Kingdom Family Gathering ministry links. So, if you feel led to give, you can feel free to do so on those. We've got other options too, but I don't have them right in front of me, so I don't want to misquote anything. So, but yeah, really looking forward to this. I know the Lord's going to do great things. We had an awesome move of the Spirit last year, and I know He's going to do it again. So, good stuff today. You got anything else?
We talked about wrestling, talked about Jesus. Man, God's good, brother. We're going to pray through all this and just keep pressing in, pressing on. Man, just trust the Lord.
Amen.
Father loves us, man.
That's right. That's right. And one more time, just in case our technical difficulties have cut out, wrestling returns to the Cleveland, Tennessee National Guard Armory Saturday, May 6th. Doors open at 6 p.m. Bell time is 7 p.m. Cole Gordy Promotions presents Chasing the Dream. Myself, Buff Bagwell, David Young, Tank and the Rev, Cousin Cletus, Cyrus the Destroyer, Jaden Newman, and so many more. If you're in that area, be sure to come and join us. I believe it's going to be a great night of wrestling action. And if anyone out there has any questions, thoughts, comments, praise reports, or prayer requests, feel free to email us at wrestlingforthefaith@gmail.com. Anything else?
I'm good, brother.
All right. For the coach, I'm Casey. We love you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Wrestling for the Faith. Don't forget to follow Casey Cage on Twitter at RealCaseyCage. Follow Chad Lale on Twitter at CWLale_Gunner. And follow the show at Facebook.com/Wrestling for the Faith.